Hey community, this is Dr. Hugh, and what I've just done is I've done an Zoom call with an attorney in Minneapolis here. Here's his business card, so you're going to want to probably write some of this information down. His name is Greg Erickson, and I crossed out the number because he doesn't want direct phone calls. He'd prefer email, so you can see his email right there with that green arrow. So what you're about to see in this Zoom call is him and I just having a conversation about mandatory vaccinations. What is your right as a citizen? What you can do about it. He has a class action lawsuit going that you can join at a very affordable fee. Pursue your case further, because at the end of the day, this needs to be a collective body of people trying to fight this. We can't do this individually. So he's a class action lawsuit, and he goes through a lot of great content here, a lot of eye-opening viewpoints about mandating vaccinations and what this means for your civil rights and what this means for your civil rights in the future and what can happen in the future with your liberties very slowly being taken away. He also covers some things as religious exemptions that are possible for you, and he gives you the term that you can look up, and I forget the term, but it was some kind of term that you can look up for religious exemptions. If you want to contact him, email him. He is a guy that is on our side, that doesn't want vaccinations. Now he is vaccinated, right? This is the thing. He is vaccinated, but he wants that choice to be an individual choice and not mandated, because he can see this mandate expanding into many, many more mandates as the future goes on. So if you're watching this, share this video, put it on your Facebook tube, share it somewhere, share it on Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is. Give it to a friend, because we need this content out here, because at the end of the day, content is being suppressed like this. It's not being available for people. So we need to come together as a collective, as a group. So take care. And remember, where there's help, there's hope. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, okay,
There we
cool.
go.
All right. Hey, well, welcome, man. I appreciate you being on the Zoom call here. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to have questions for you. And just to kind of set the stage is I'm in Minnesota, and we went to a rally, basically. So that, just to get the date, today's August 17th, which is a Tuesday, and we went to a rally that you were at, which was this Sunday, or this past Sunday, the 15th, and it was about mandating vaccinations specifically for healthcare workers. And the community that I kind of like help is a community that's been damaged by these antibiotics called fluoroquinolones, and it's really tight community, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of these people across the United States. And I appreciate you coming on. So I just wanted to, if you wanted to say a few words, and then we'll just kind of go in on like law information or anything that you can help this community if they need to be forced to take these vaccinations.
Well, my name is Greg Erickson. I'm an attorney at the law firm of 𝗲𝗲𝘆 Erickson in downtown Minneapolis. One of the things that our law firm does is it represents people in defense of their personal liberty on various causes. And this is one of them that we have adopted. And we've secured a number of doctors and nurses who are objecting to the mandatory administration of the vaccine upon threat of termination. So
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So our plan is to bring an action, hopefully in federal court, to get an injunction to prevent this from happening. And that's the plan. So, you know, the only recourse in this particular situation is litigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's either litigation, take the vaccine, or quit your job. Those are your three options that you're presented with, and they're putting everybody in a corner. And for those Minnesota residents, Minnesota law actually is more favorable than other states' law as it relates to forced vaccinations. So that's, you know, for the Minnesota residents, that's very positive.
Mhm.
But for other states' residents, you have provisions in probably your state and the U.S. Constitution that speak to this. And I don't know how familiar your folks are with the various cases that have been filed around the country related to this issue, but the short answer is that there has not been a conclusive decision that that the appeal periods have passed that have upheld these mandates. Okay.
Okay, so I'm confused on that. So what does that mean exactly in like a layman's terms?
Okay. There are decisions. There is a decision in Indiana related to some students' objections to a vaccine passport.
Dental
Okay.
students, right?
Pardon?
They were dental students, right?
I believe they were graduate students at the University of Indiana.
Okay.
Okay. And a lot of, and their motion for an injunction was denied. Okay.
Mm.
And then their appeal was also denied, and their writ of certiorari to the United States Supreme Court was also not granted. Okay. But what a lot of people think is that that particular case is over. Okay. That is not true. The fact that the United States Supreme Court denied review at an early stage does not mean that they're not going to take the case once the case is more fully litigated and developed.
Mhm.
They do that all the time.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, for some people, the Supreme Court's timeline is not always
Fast.
in conjunction with your timeline.
Right.
One of the things that people also need to understand is that that is a district court decision. Okay. That has absolutely no binding precedential effect in other courts in the country. You have different laws in your states. Particularly Minnesota has markedly different laws passed by the legislature. So what happens in Indiana does not have any effect on what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's also a case in Texas that was decided against some doctors and nurses, but that case, the reasoning is ridiculous. It's
Okay.
very poorly decided.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a couple questions, because I put this out on my resources there, and I had some questions come back. And one of the things that people had questions about is, like this Privacy Act, and then companies are forming, like, you just go online and you just put your information in if you were vaccinated or not. You don't have to show any proof of this. But some questions were like, if I say that I was, but I'm actually not, is that a problem for future termination or future problems?
Well, I don't recommend people lying to their employers.
Okay.
One thing that I would suggest is there's a federal act called RFRA, okay, that allows people with religious objections to the vaccine to bring those to their employer, and their employer is prohibited from terminating them for that if those religious objections are in good faith. Okay.
Okay.
So for those of your constituents that are people of faith, I would definitely recommend getting those objections in. I can guarantee you that in our upcoming lawsuit, one of the claims is going to be that the employers under RFRA, which is the applicable federal statute,
Okay.
should not have the ability to do a lot of due diligence or any evaluation of the validity of these people's religious beliefs.
Right.
Because the fact, for example, the fact that I am a Catholic, okay, and our very liberal pontiff may say that the vaccine is a-okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that I, as a practicing Catholic, can't have a religious objection to the vaccine in my world.
Yeah, I mean, other than the pastor's opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't think that's legitimate. I don't think that's a legitimate private use of. Yeah. I just think it's violative of RIFRA. Yeah.
Okay.
I just, in all honesty, I've taken the vaccine.
But yeah, right. I was glad that you said that at the mandate rally there. So yeah.
Right. One of the reasons why we took this case is I just find it extremely troubling when state agencies, employers are going to this level of invasiveness on their individual employees. I just, my concern with this, obviously, it's not a concern for me to take the vaccine because I already took it. You know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm concerned about it from an individual liberty standpoint. And the Supreme Court has spoken on this issue in 1905. Okay.
1905. Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Swine flu or whatever.
And one of the things that needs to be, made plain about that particular decision is that was only one jurisdiction's local requirement of a smallpox vaccine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Smallpox is wildly different than COVID. Right. It had a 30% fatality rate throughout all age groups.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's like, that would wipe out a society.
And a 56.7% fatality rate for people between 30 and 60. Okay. And the Supreme Court has said, okay, that when you're talking about things like survival of the species, mm-hmm. That sometimes individual rights can go out the window. Okay. But that, I think we can all agree that COVID is not that.
Right.
The fatality rates are relatively low, and the concept that the fatality rates are around 1 or 2%, it's just wildly invalid because that's not testing everyone. Right. Okay. That is testing only the people that were very sick. Okay.
Yes.
And I can assure you that your 12-year-olds, your 19-year-olds, your basically every 19-year-old in the US, as far as I'm concerned, has had COVID.
I would agree. It's breathing air. You can't escape it. It's everywhere.
Every person that I know that has end of high school, early college kids, they've all had it.
Yeah. No, okay. They might not have gotten sick, but they've got, it's the same thing with like exactly. Epstein-Barr virus. If you do Epstein-Barr virus, I've done a lot of these labs on Epstein-Barr virus, and 99% of the population has Epstein-Barr virus, but you don't have this massive vaccination policy. And one of the things I just want to get to the audience is like, if you're out there, you need to contact this firm, and they need to direct you to what's going on, because what's happening with your liberties and freedoms right now is very, very scary, right? So, slowly your freedoms are being taken away, and it's a slow process that this is happening. And this is why I wanted Greg on here to give you guys a resource to connect with someone that actually knows the law and will protect your human rights, because slowly our human rights in this country are being diminished due to this vaccination. And like you're saying, Greg, is the actual fatalities is probably like 0.001 when you consider pretty much everyone has breathed the COVID virus.
I think that's probably a little low, but you're closer in the neighborhood than 1%.
Okay, fair enough.
There was a study in Stanford early on, and they did a blanket test of an entire county in San Diego. And the test results were that the infection rate was wildly higher than anyone had predicted.
Mm-hmm.
And when they compared the infections with the fatalities, they found that the fatality rate was 0.05 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, obviously that's a very significant amount of people if you're talking about
Millions
the entire
of people.
United States population.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
There's no disputing that. But then, you know, you're talking about the age of these people, and I'm not saying that their lives have no value,
Mm-hmm.
but the reality of the situation is many of these people affected by the virus were wildly immunocompromised,
Yeah. Overweight,
older,
diabetes,
or had many other
comorbidities
that resulted in the fatality.
Yeah.
You know, there are just some people that, you know, there are the handful of healthy people that do die from this virus for various reasons. I'm just like, there are healthy people that die from the flu. You know, I mean, it's just really tragic, bizarre situations.
Right.
But the argument that we are having here as a society and worldwide is, okay, to what level are we going to change everyone's lives
to accommodate it,
particularly the lives of the children, to protect a very small portion of the population?
Yeah.
And what the other thing is too, is that we live in a society where the vaccine is very available.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And according to their own numbers, the people who have died, post-vaccination availability, 99.5% of those people were not vaccinated. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is a fact. So, but taking that into account, why is everyone being held hostage if the people who may be dying, according to their numbers, I don't know if they're accurate or not, are not vaccinated?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. This is America. Everyone is free to make their choices.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people in their 30s, who have had allergic reactions to vaccines in the past, and you're talking about fatality rate for 30-year-olds that's,
minuscule.
What, like what you're saying, 0.001 or even further below that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So why does that person in their 30s have to be forced to take a vaccine that they feel in their minds could be more detrimental to their health than the disease itself?
Yeah, this is the problem. You hit it right there. Like, this is your freedom slowly being taken away, and you don't have control of your body. And one of the things we talk about, just internet content, like my stuff on this has gotten taken down, Greg. Like, there is actually legitimate stuff that's been taken down that's anti-vaccination stuff, and it's not out there, and people need to know this.
And
this is why they need to contact you, man. Like, if you're out there, here's the thing I want the audience to know, because I think this is going to go viral here, Greg. If you're out there, share this on your platform. Okay, I might end up putting this on one of these other platforms that won't get taken down. Share this on Facebook. Contact his law firm so you know what your rights are as a human being in this freaking country right now. Because what's happening is I'm scared actually what's happening right now with every human being's freedom. Now, if you want to get the vaccination, like Greg said, you should have that freedom, and I have no problem with that. The problem comes in is where it's mandating, where you got to show this passport, and it just starts here. This is just the tip of it.
So one thing I want to make plain to people, Doctor, I am a for-profit law lawyer, and we are a for-profit law firm. We are not a non-profit law firm.
Yeah, that's
okay?
Fine. I mean, everyone's got to make a living.
To the extent that you are contacting my law firm for advice or representation, that will cost you money. We are downtown lawyers. We're very expensive, but the way that these folks, we have a group of doctors and nurses, and we have a group of state employees. The way that they are affording us is they are banding together.
Yes.
Because the reality of the situation is your average person cannot afford a downtown lawyer.
I agree.
I, as a downtown lawyer, would have great difficulty affording myself. I mean, these lawsuits are extremely expensive and need more than a single individual to pursue their rights, because it's just
yeah, you got to band together.
So financially taxing.
Together.
It's so financially taxing. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So the way that people resist these particular invasions is they have to group together, just like the progressive groups that are shoving this down everybody's throat are doing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's crazy to see wildly educated people that are perfectly okay with forcing people to take vaccinations. And these are colleagues, friends, you know, people that I know, my own sister, you know, there is a big divide in this country between people that believe in individual liberty and people that just think, hey, it's better odds for everybody, so people should be forced to take it.
Yeah.
That's the problem is, and this is why the question is, where does it end? Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where does this end? If you think it's going to end here, you're being foolish.
Yeah, I agree.
I can tell you another thing that is, yeah, I'm on an iPhone right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And there is talk by Apple that they are going to turn in all the child molesters that are looking at child pornography on their iPhones. Okay. And that sounds like a laudable goal to everybody. Yeah. Right. Because I mean, who is going to take up with the child pornographers? You know, right. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're the most awful human beings ever to live. But here's the thing. If you think the end game is to just reduce child pornography, you couldn't be any more wrong.
Right.
That's the big concern. When Big Brother is, you know, with these phones that everybody uses, when Big Brother can spy on you, like the Chinese are with your TikTok and you're this or that, you're that, this gets very disconcerting. You know, obviously people spying on you to determine what you're interested in is bad. Right. Okay. But
there is a massive difference between somebody figuring out what you like and trying to addict you more on your iPhone or your apps, which is very insidious. Okay, don't get me wrong, but there's a huge difference between that and one, we're going to dip into your own personal iPhone and convict you of a crime.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah. I guess
very,
where does it stop?
very,
Where does the
very
invasion stop?
disconcerting.
Yeah.
And the whole point is they're always going to start
small
with the child molesters.
Yeah.
Because it's just
easy
something
target.
that it's an easy target. I mean, who in their right mind is going to go defend the child molesters?
Right.
But it's just like that story with the Holocaust. Well, you know, they came for my neighbor, but I wasn't a Jew, you know?
Yeah.
Then they came for my other neighbor, but I wasn't a Muslim. Well, eventually they come for you, and
Or something.
there's nobody left to speak up for you because you didn't speak up for the other people.
Yeah. And yeah, right.
And-
That's why I wanted. I'm in 100% agreement.
And it puts you in a terrible position
Very
because
bad.
you're speaking up for the rights of child molesters.
Right.
I mean, it's
Oh,
awful.
Yeah.
But that is the American experiment. You know,
Yeah.
when you speak up for the rights of Nazis to speak, it's very, very challenging. You know what I mean? Because who wants to be affiliated with the Nazis?
Yeah.
Nobody.
No, yeah. No.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's the child molesters. They're always going to use the most hated elements of society to try to give up your rights. Just like they're using everyone's concern about their personal safety and their safety of the relatives and families, et cetera, to get everybody to give up their rights.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand in this age is people for the last 250 years in this country have given up their lives for freedom,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And the problem with our society today is that nobody wants to sacrifice anymore.
Right.
Nobody wants. And here's the thing. Do I want to sacrifice my child? Of course not.
Right.
Of course not. But the thing is that freedom comes at a cost. Okay. Freedom comes at a cost. You know, when you see, you know, a 350-pound heavyset person saying, you know, who's 69, who says, I'm not going to get the vaccine. You got to know that that person probably is making a poor choice. You know, they're probably making a poor choice.
Right.
They'd probably be better off taking the vaccine than they would be not taking the vaccine. But
Right.
we make poor choices every day. I eat too much. I drink too
Right.
much.
Yeah.
You know, everybody is free to make poor choices that are detrimental to their health. And this concept that, you know, hey, we're clogging the hospitals with these people with COVID. Well, guess what? We're also clogging the hospitals with fat people.
Yeah. Diabetes,
Okay.
heart disease, cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nobody's talking about a national mandate to force people to walk 2 miles a day. You know, and
Yeah. Right. No.
and
Right. That's
you
legit.
know, the
That's
scary
legit.
thing is guess what? It would be better for all of us if
Yeah.
we had that. You know, it would
Yeah.
be better for everybody's health if we had that.
Yeah.
It is indisputable fact.
Yeah.
That if everybody was forced to walk 2 miles a day, we'd all be healthier.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that I don't want to live in that world. You do not want to live in that world.
Yeah.
Where a group of people says,
Have
this
to.
is what's good for you,
Or
and you need.
Or you can't grocery shop. You can't go here. You don't walk 2 miles a
Or you
day.
can't-
You can't go and
you
get food
can't-
in this grocery store.
You can't grocery shop. You can't go to a movie. You can't go to a restaurant. This is it's
Scary.
It's extremely disconcerting. But
Yeah.
one of the big hypocrisies that I find is, okay, if the vaccine is so great, okay, and I've taken it.
Yep.
If the vaccine is so great and you've taken it, what the hell do you care what I do?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you care if I do?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, the variants.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Variants are always less lethal than the original strain.
Variances are going to happen till the end of time.
Now, mind you, maybe that's not the case if the Chinese made another variant.
Right,
That's
yeah.
more sensitive. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, you just got to go with, you know, common sense here.
Yeah.
Variants are going to be slightly less deadly.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me ask you a couple of questions here for the audience, because I got some questions, and you kind of answer this at the mandate on Saturday. So if someone's forced to get a vaccination, one of the person that raised their hands that you answered her question was, she's like, I can retire, I can quit, or I can be terminated. What do you suggest for if push comes to shove and these people are out there, what's the end game for that?
well, I'll tell you this. I mean, and the answer, people hate lawyers for this. Okay. The answer is going to be, it depends. Okay. If they don't get fired, okay, and if they resign and the mandate is flipped, they've lost their chance at a wrongful termination action.
Yeah.
Okay. But if they, you know, quit and get to keep their PTO, or they get to keep their, you know, whatever, you know, stock options, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and the mandate is upheld, that was a smart decision, you know. But the reality is, you'll never know. You'll never know, and except with the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah.
You know, but I will tell you this. I think that there's probably lawsuits going to be available for people who are terminated for an alteration to their employment contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, okay, I'm performing under these terms, okay? And then you say, oh, the terms have materially changed, okay? And then I'm going to forfeit my PTO and my other rights. You know, to me, my argument would be those rights are vested.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be class actions, and employers are going to get sued en masse if they actually try to do that. I really think that that's more of a bluff than because I will tell you, from a financial standpoint, as a business,
It's hard to find people.
the business is so much better off just paying these people their PTO or whatever.
Mhm.
Because if they get in a huge lawsuit over this, let's just say you got 100 people's PTO or whatever, and they've taken it, okay? If they are found that was unlawful, okay, the penalty is not just you got to pay the PTO. They got to pay attorney's fees.
Yeah.
They got to pay their own attorney's fees. They got to pay penalties. They've got to, I mean, wages in Minnesota are a big deal. Okay. If you've earned your PTO and they're just changing the game, you know, 90% of the way you're through your career, I mean, it just seems, it reeks of unlawful to me, you know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
because it's like this. Well, then what's to prevent a business from saying, oh, hey, by the way, you either keep doing this job and agree to recite the Communist Manifesto every day, or if you don't, we can terminate you,
Right.
and you lose all your PTO and your benefits.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they're a private business, they're a private business. Why can't they do that? Well, to me, it sets a very, it's just like the forced vaccination. It sets an extremely dangerous precedent. What if they are atheists and they make you want to say something? Well, now RFRA would probably cover that, but the point is that they could do some pretty terrible stuff that what if they forced people to exercise?
I mean, I guess that could be like, if they're going to force vaccination, they could say like, we're not going to pay for
there's no
end. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I never really considered that. I mean, you can't come here and get food if you don't exercise 2 miles a day or walk. I mean, really, that's like legitimate now when I consider that viewpoint now. Like, like you can't come in here.
Like 2 to 5 years ago, you'd say that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Now, you're like,
it's
God,
possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 years. I was just thinking.
Look what they're doing in Australia.
That's crazy.
People can't leave their homes.
Yes, I know. It's insane. Yeah, I'm just like, I was thinking last night, like, okay, 2 years ago, would I have ever thought that you had to wear a mask to go into, or 2 masks to go into a store if you didn't have a vaccination, or you had to go and show a passport to go get a deli sandwich in New York City. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I never viewed that, but yeah, like, you got to walk 2 miles a day because you're obese. And if you don't, you can't come in here and buy food. That's like legitimate. I mean,
why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Because the exact same rationale that supports the vaccination, because we all know that people that have been vaccinated like me, I can contract Delta and communicate it. It's been proven.
Yeah, it has.
So then what's the difference between me being vaccinated and spreading Delta in I don't know if you're vaccinated or not.
I'm not, no.
I mean, and you spreading Delta.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What? Because I did what the grand collective wants. I'm able to go to a restaurant and do whatever, and and what's scary is part of my reasoning for taking the vaccine is I just don't want to deal with the pain in the ass of not taking the vaccine. I mean,
it's legit now. It's like,
it's really sad, but for me, like my desire to eat at my favorite restaurant.
I mean, there's a lot of people that will just cave to that. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
That's really scary.
There's a lot of people that will cave to that situation for sure. And one thing I think that goes that's not in the media is all the people that are having problems. Like our neighbor got the vaccination, and he has like constant ringing in his ears, and his mood's changed. I mean,
there's no dispute. I mean, there's no dispute that most of the people that are dying of COVID are unvaccinated. Okay. But on the flip side, there are also healthy people that took the vaccine
that now have problems,
that now have some bad stuff going on.
Yeah. And those are undiagnosed. Those are like, just like, don't talk about those. We don't want to have them in the media.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had a nurse in our group that she's willing to swear under oath that she was told to not report negative outcomes of the vaccine.
That wouldn't shock me.
And if that's true, that's really scary. And I'm not a, tinfoil hat guy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But with the way that information is being restricted from people,
that's the problem. That is a problem.
1984 is so much closer now. I always thought that 1984 was getting further and further away since 1989 and the wall came down and more freedom.
Yeah, right.
And the older I get, the more I realize that these philosophies like communism, like fascism, all these philosophies, they don't go away.
No.
It's been proven that communism doesn't work, but people still do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's still the answer. Well, they didn't do it right. Okay, well, all right. Well, that's your belief system, but you know, it's been tried and tried and tried everywhere. It reduces productivity.
Yeah, for sure.
Period. End stop.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, I only have the free version, so I only have a 40-minute record time on here. So I appreciate your time and your expertise. I think how is it best for people to get a hold of you, or how do you want to what do you want to say for people that want to seek your advice or
It's
touch
got to be email. I'm a working lawyer. Phone calls just shut me down.
No, right. So do you want me to put your email in my content here, or how do you your website,
fine.
or what's the best?
Our email is on our website. We can be contacted. But
Do you want your personal email in my content,
Yeah,
or
that's
your
fine.
company? Yeah, okay.
personal email is
All
fine.
right. I do think
Erickson at mpklaw.com. ERICKSON at mpklaw.com.
Yeah, okay. I'll put that in
But-
the notes and wherever I
Yeah.
post this. So
Just to be I am really swamped right now with all these requests.
I'm sure.
So
I'm
if
shocked that you
I don't get
even
back
did
to
the
you
Zoom
right
call.
away, it's I'm sorry, but we're trying to defend people's jobs, and there's only so many hours in the day, and I got to take my kids to football too,
Yeah,
so
no, I understand.
just no promises to everybody, but I'll do my best.
All right,
Okay.
brother. I appreciate this. And I'm hoping this is going to go viral. So if you're still listening to this, share this content, get a hold of Greg and his firm, because what's happening out there in society is very dangerous. It could next year, if you don't walk 2 miles a day, you might not be able to get food because you didn't walk 2 miles. That is a possibility. And I didn't realize that until you pointed that out. That is possible.
It's the same rationale.
Same rationale. I agree.
It
100%.
reduces the amount of people in the hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Okay.
So, all right, brother. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.